Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're doing a live demo of Learnsoft's exciting new product updates. So for the next half hour or so, we will showcase how our latest LMS features elevate the learner experience, simplify compliance, and streamline your L&D workflow. Our experts here today, Amy Tessitore is our Director of Product, Courtney Bentley, Director of Client Success, and Kara Conger, Director of Sales. They will all guide you through a sustainable L&D model and then a click-by-click demo of the Learnsoft platform. During the webinar, please submit any questions you have in the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. We'll have time at the end to answer and respond to some of those questions, and we'll get back to you if we're not able to respond to the ones that you have today. And lastly, we are recording this webinar, and a recording will be provided after the session. And so we're ready to get started. And with that, I will hand it over to Amy.
All right. Thanks so much, Leighton. Welcome, everybody. We are very happy to have you here today. You should see on your screen right now a brief presentation that we are going to deliver for you today before jumping into the live demo. So let me just make sure my mouse is there. It is where I want it to be. And we'll go here. So who are we? We are Learnsoft. A little bit about us. We were founded in 2005. So we've been around for a long time. We are almost 20 years old. And we are here transforming the learning and development landscape by harnessing the power of technology. We are very passionate about creating a platform that is easy to use, easy to navigate, and gets people from that point of logging into the system to completing their learning very quickly, very easily, and without a lot of lift on your side to have to train people about how to use this. We serve 800,000 learners across the United States, and we are very excited to be here and be part of a company that's looking to revolutionize how learning is delivered and the experience that people. Our mission is to enable the most productive, prepared, and happy workforce. And we know that when we're talking about compliance training and things like that, there because they have to be, but it doesn't mean that it can't be a good and happy experience. We are an award-winning company in LMS, as you can see by some of our awards that are here on this screen. So who are your presenters today? Leighton already introduced us a bit, but I'll tell you a little bit about who else is on the call. Courtney Bentley, Director of Client Success, is here. Courtney has been in this space, the education space, for over 20 years, from teaching to instructional technology to technology leadership. And I have been very fortunate to work with Courtney for quite a while now, both here at Learnsoft and at previous companies. She oversees the success of our clients in all phases of their LMS lifecycle. That means from things like this, like demos and pre-sales, to onboarding, as well as ensuring they're receiving the highest level of support for what they're doing. She is an expert in projects that focus on process improvement, developing strategies for technology, transitions, adoptions, and use, organizing successful testing and adoption, and more. I am Amy Tessitore. I'm the Director of Product here at Learnsoft. I have over 15 years in the EdTech industry. Also in education, I've worked in K-12, higher ed, corporate learning, and have worked in the LMS space for quite a while now too. I'm an accessibility and equity advocate, an instructional designer, and an all-around ed tech nerd. I'm also a mom, a chef, a chauffeur, and a serial home improvement project starter. You will notice not a project completer. So I like to get them started, but that finishing work, not my jam. Also joining us today is Kara Conger. Kara is the Director of Sales, and she also has over 10 years in the LMS market. She has a passion for client success stories. And when she is not here working with us at Learnsoft, you can find her running marathons, running after a toddler, which is really just like running a marathon, and doing puzzles. So that's a little bit about us and the people who are here on this meeting today. So who do we serve? We serve over 800,000 individuals who are learning on the Learnsoft platform. We serve in higher ed, primarily when people are doing their new hire onboarding and their internal faculty training. We really specialize in that area. We also serve the healthcare industry, hospitality industry, the gaming industry, government, and compliance. And so those are some of the industries that we work with and the types of users that we have on our platform. So, when we look at how we approach developing a product and serving our clients, we like to think first about what the barriers to success for L&D programs are. And understanding those barriers helps us to mitigate any of the issues that might arise, think about them ahead of time, and make sure that we have a plan to solve even the stickiest of pain points that people may be experiencing. So, scalability is often something that comes up sometimes when it comes to employee onboarding and getting new employees into a system and into onboarding training quickly and regularly, because we're often bringing people in as new hires on different cycles. We don't just hire one big batch of people, train them all, and off they go. We typically are have hiring cycles throughout the year. Certification renewal. So, historically, way back in my previous life, I actually worked in an industry where I had to have an annual compliance certification to be a hazardous waste operator. And at the time, that was all in classroom on paper. I had to make sure I had my certificate with me and had copies of it in case I lost it because I needed to produce it. That type of approach is not super scalable. Role specific training is another place where sometimes we have barriers. We may have an LMS and we want people to have access to a catalog of learning that is specific for the role that they have, and many times we aren't able to necessarily accomplish that with the system that we're on. And then also in-person training. What do we do if we're doing in-person training but we also want to be able to log that training, that certification, whatever's happening in an electronic system to keep the records there and keep all of our records in one place? Integrations are another place that sometimes people find barriers. So they might have learner data in their HRIS system, but then some learner data also in a learning management system and some somewhere else. We have disconnected data. It's not all integrated. That makes it very hard for us to understand success, to track compliance and training, as well as assign that type of training. Self authored content. So, if we've created our content, how are we getting that into a place where our learners can use it? Licensed content, same situation. There are lots of companies out there, and we have some partners as well who create content, and you can license that from them. So you're not having to rebuild it. But sometimes, if you are working in a system where that system can't integrate with that content provider, now we have another problem. We have things happening in two different places. And paper based rosters, which still widely used for a lot of training things. But if we lose that piece of paper, we spill coffee on it, the dog eats it, we now have lost that record of who's participated in that training. Data integrity is another critical factor when we look at the barriers or the success of a learning an L&D initiative. So, digital and paper records, if we have both, we are going to end up with errors somewhere. And so that data isn't strong, that data isn't clean. There's no single source of truth. So we really want to get all of our data into one place so that we can pull insights and reports and do something with that data. And that really only happens when we have all the data in one place, preferably not hand entering data, because otherwise we end up with that dirty data, which is a big barrier. So, what do we do then? Well, we look at what a sustainable model is. And that's part of what we do here at Learnsoft, and what Courtney does in her approach to client success, what my team is doing in the approach to how we develop the product, and what Kara is doing when she is matching the right solutions and talking about success to people on the sales side. So, automation is important: automated account provisioning, enrollments, data pass back to that HRIS, and tracking. And so, having all of that in there is going to take care of some of that scale of easily getting people into these training programs, making sure our data is both secure and clean, meaningful data. The integration piece, making we are always looking at increasing the flow of data, improving data visibility and governance through an integration that we have with Yellowfin, our reporting partner. Data flows to a source of truth, and data integrity. So, because we have these integrations, we are better able to make sure that your data is clean, your data is something that's usable for you, and we can provide some reports and insights for that. I'd go beyond that too and say that also in terms of integration, we are always, improving our integration with third-party partners, such as content partners and other areas as well. And then clear pathways. So when we're talking about a sustainable L&D model, when someone logs into the system, into the LMS to begin their training or their learning, it is very clear to them. The UI is intuitive. They log in, getting to the learning is easy, it's all right there for them. And then they're able to see exactly what tasks they have to complete, grab their transcript of what they have already completed, and track their own progress. And that is exactly what you can do with our LMS. And Courtney's going to show you a lot of that in a few minutes. This is another slide here that talks a little bit about how we integrate with some different things. So we have some integrated systems, Salesforce, Infor, Workday, SAP. We're integrated with Harris. We've got integrated content from Open Sesame, from the American Heart Association, and others. And this leads to making sure that we have the right kind of content to provide people for their learning, and then to assess their competency, identify any skills gaps. We deliver specific pathways, there's blended modalities available, and personalized learning. And so when we bring all of this together, we create this ecosystem of learning directly in the LMS. And so, what is our commitment? What does it look like? So, on the right hand side of your screen, hopefully it's the right, not the left, might be flipped. You have the 90-day implementation plan. And this basically shows you in 90 days where you kind of progress when you're a client with us and you're implementing with us, starting with us creating the platform for you, spinning it up, all the way through you using this, generating some data and pulling some reports and insights for you. And so, that's exactly what it looks like. Our commitment to you during this time and through the lifetime of being a client with us is that you have the best level of service with guided implementation. We have a very timely support response and dedicated client representatives for each one of our clients. So you have a client success representative who knows you, knows what your goals are and what your purpose is and what your use case is. Collaboration is really key here too. So we look at this as a partnership, which is something that we both enter into to ensure ongoing collaboration, goal setting, achieving of goals, having a plan, not just for today, but for tomorrow and the future, and making sure that we're always presenting solutions to solve for your needs and pain points, sometimes before you even know that they're a need and pain point. And then you have expertise. You saw on the intro slide, Courtney, Kara, and I have been in this industry for quite some time, but we are backed by our teams who have years of industry expertise. So they have worked in the LMS, the L&D industry, education, and they have a deep technical understanding about how to maximize integrations, how to configure your site so that it meets your needs. And ultimately, your success is our priority. If you're successful, then we're successful. And that's how we approach everything with our clients. So I am going to turn this over to Courtney for us to take a look at the system. So I'll stop share now. Come over here and do that and kick it off and let Courtney run with it. And she will show you exactly what the platform looks like.
Yeah, thanks so much, Amy. It's so fun to show people new things. So I'm really excited to let everybody have a sneak peek today. Just a reminder, if you do have questions, I believe that the question and answer pane is available to you. So as I'm walking through things, if you have some questions, we'll try to save a few minutes, and then we'll hit those on the way out. So I'm really going to focus today on the user experience. As Amy mentioned, one of our keys to success is really making the platform accessible to your users. We can meet another time and go into the admin panel and dig around in all of those tools that I know most of you on this call are probably excited about. But our number one priority is making sure that your organization is compliant and well-trained, and that you have access to that information. So let's focus on the learner experience today. I'm going to use our Learnsoft University site, which is a demo site. It's set up and configured for us. Just know that this would be configured for you. So your logos, your branding, your color scheme. A couple of other things to mention as we head into the demo. You also would have the ability to allow external users to create accounts and come in, or I guess to connect your single sign-on. So as Amy mentioned, really tight, nice integrations with your authentication system, and also with the information you have in your HR system or other database that you're going to feed over users into the platform. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as one of my demo users, assuming that I remembered her password. And we're going to get right into her account. So you'll notice that the first thing that appears for her is her My Task list. If you're familiar with our product, you can see that there are some similarities. It should be an update, a refresh of what you and your users have experienced in the past. We're really looking to incorporate more data-driven decisions for your users without them having to dig into data, obviously. And so that's why you see this colorful ring in the top. Should really draw their attention over to it. We know that our attention gets drawn immediately to red, orange, those hot colors, right? So the hot color here is the fact that I have a course that is coming due soon. I can see also that I have one that is just in this kind of upcoming state. That means it's due in the next 30 days. And then I also have a set of courses that have a due date that reaches kind of beyond that 30-day window. So those are a little bit cooler. They don't require my attention right up front. One of the things that you probably are noticing already on the screen is below the fold here, below my scorecard, if you will, you should see the list of courses that I am enrolled in to take. So those are also color coded based on that due date information. And if a learner has kind of this overflow of things that they are required to do, so a lot of enrollments to dig through, they can use this icon or this ring as a navigation system. So by clicking on the due soon, it is going to immediately pull up just those courses that fall into that due soon sort of category. So really nice ways to be able to get users in and have them easily see what it is they need to focus on. You may have also noticed that the courses are organized based on due date. So things that are due immediately are at the top, and then it funnels down based on that due date. So let's go ahead and take a little look at some course examples and sort of talk through those. So let's start with the one that we have due immediately. So the way that a user is going to navigate that course is they are going to see the launch button on that line, and they are going to click that launch button. For those of you, again, who may have seen our products currently or in the past, this may look a little different. We've really taken the opportunity to help guide learners through the steps that you require of them for a course. In this example, this is a SCORM package. This is something that we have uploaded into the platform that's been created outside of it. And this is going to allow me to click to launch that SCORM course. So immediately pop-up comes up. It opens up the course in the player, and all of the controls that you have added into that course are going to be accessible for my learner. Now, what happens for those of us who get distracted and need to leave and come back? Well, most of you are familiar with SCORM, and you know that if you leave out of here, it's going to allow me to pick right back up where I left off. So I am going to head back to my set of courses. We'll take a look at a couple of other course examples. So let's go ahead and take a look at a document example. I think this is a really common need for a lot of organizations. You may have policy documents, you may have presentations that have been created, and you really just want that material made accessible to your learners. You may want to ask them a few questions to make sure that they have read and understood whatever it is that you've distributed to them. But the system is a great way to help users navigate that. You don't have to send an email with a PDF and a link to SharePoint. You can sync that directly into the platform. So let's take a look at this policy document update. And again, we'll click the launch button. And you may notice that this one has a couple of options here. So we've got step 1 and step 2. So let's go ahead and launch our learning material. And you'll see that this is actually launching a PDF right within the platform. So from here, I can review this updated policy documents. I can read and review that as I need to. And then once I've completed that review, I can click my next button, and it's going to navigate me to the next step of the course. And in this case, it's a post test, a knowledge check, if you will. So within the platform, I've created a couple of example questions pertaining to this policy document. So the idea here is that the learner would review that policy. They would come in and they would make their selections. I guess I would have to actually read this to be able to answer them correctly. But we'll go ahead and make some selections and click the submit button. The learner gets feedback immediately that their post-test has been submitted successfully, and then they can finish up that course. Now we've set up some things here for demo purposes so we could reset and come back in, but you can see the overall flow for your learners and how sort of guided an experience that is for them, giving them really concrete feedback that they've finished successfully and all of those kind of triggers that we need, right? Let me show you one more, because I always think it's helpful to see a variety of examples, types of things that users and clients are attempting to do. So let's take a look at our last one, our preventing slips, trips, and falls. So again, very consistent experience for your learners. They click that launch button, they come to the course material, they click to launch that material. And in this case, it is a YouTube video. So it's content that we use to help both entertain and train our users around how to prevent slips, trips, and falls. So user would play through this content, and when they finish, again, they would move through, in this case, to a post-test. They would make those selections. It gives them that notification that they've completed it, and then they're able to move on. Now, in this case, we've added a third step to this specific course, and that step is an evaluation. So one of the other tools we have in our arsenal here in the platform is the ability to create a survey. So you are able to create a custom evaluation. I personally encourage my clients to do this. Most of the time, we'll help them put together some questions for things like this, which are self-paced, and then also a set of questions or evaluations around instructor-led types of courses. Obviously, the questions are slightly different based on that experience. And it's that information that's really going to help you determine what's working well in your platform in terms of content, in terms of trainers, sometimes in terms of the navigation and completion rates. And you can force these evaluations, so make them required as a part of course completion, or you can make them optional and just solicit feedback from them as an optional component of the course. So again, as a learner, I would answer the questions presented to me, click submit, and it will allow me to finish out that course. I've completed all steps and I am finished. So that's a little bit about navigating courses. One of the other components that a lot of our organizations rely on is a pathway, a curriculum, a certification, really a chance to bundle courses together into some sort of set. So you can see within the certification drop down here in my course set, it is holding these 3 courses together. So this budget and finance curriculum or certification in our site has 3 courses, and I won't take you through all of those, but they're going to look very much like the ones we saw previously. In this case, they're all 3 online, but you could have a mix and match of instructor-led and also online self-paced types of courses that you're really bundling together. The platform understands prerequisites, assignment by course order, so you need to complete the first one before you move on to subsequent. Or in this case, I really just want them to complete the material in any order that they choose to get that done. All right, so let's move on. As we see here, all of the courses in the requirement section are labeled as mandatory. And that's because these are courses that have been assigned to me as a learner. They have a set due date. They are required based on either my position, my start date, maybe the department that I belong to. For some reason, my organization has made those required. But a lot of you are either dipping your toe in or are fully into making optional professional development and training available to your learners. We've seen this for several years, and people really are doing their best to provide a lot of opportunities for their learners. We know that as people learn new things, they become sticky in your organization. They evolve in ways that sometimes we don't expect. So we are not encouraging you to have to go out to a lot of different sources and send your learners to a lot of different places. One of the nice things about the platform is you can pull all of your training, either training courses that you're offering or the completions of those into the platform itself. So let's take a look at the content library in this demo course set that we have. Because I really like to take just a quick look at the way that your learners can find material. So when I come into the content library, it is showing me a list of courses. Now, to be fair, there's only 5 courses that are showing in my list. And the reason why is because my learner's account only has access to those. We've determined based on her start date, based on her position, based on the department she belongs to, that only this set of courses pertain to her, and those are the only ones that she should gain access to. This is really unique. A lot of times organizations struggle with this, but you can be very specific about what training courses people have access to for self-enrollment in your site. So as a learner, I can limit what I see. So if I want to see just classroom course offerings, I can search for just those. And obviously it's going to eliminate all of those other options. And then I can reset my filters if I want to go back to looking at everything else. I also have some really some other options depending on what you are using in your site. So let's say I only wanted to take courses from a particular instructor. I could select them and limit down my search results that way. But maybe there's a specific date range I'm looking for. I have some free time, or maybe I want to get some things in before my performance review at the end of the year. I can look at a specific date range of offerings. I also could look at facility. A lot of our organizations are very dispersed. So you may have facilities in different states. You may have them across different cities. It may just be that you want to limit users to particular areas. The facility listing that shows here is basically showing me just facilities that are available to me within those courses. So let's say that I am in building facility A and I don't want to leave my building. I just want something quick that I can get out to. I can make that selection and search for just those courses that are happening in my building. One of the last things I really love, you all know how to search for things. This just allows me to help to highlight a few of the things that we're able to really let you drill into. And the last is job position. And I really like this about the platform. Couple of things here. I hope you can see it. It's way down on the bottom of my screen, but I have you blown up so that you can see more. Down at the bottom, there's an option called job position. And you're probably thinking, why is she even showing me this? This seems kind of a throwaway. This is because our platform allows users to have multiple job roles. So we work in healthcare a lot. Many of your nurses are working in the ER on the weekends potentially, or picking up shifts in different departments, but maybe their full-time position is in a clinic. And so those two roles have potentially different training requirements, different things that are being offered to them, different locations. So for them, two job positions in their profile might reveal two job position options in this dropdown. So really what I'm doing here is I'm saying, show me just the things that have been earmarked specific for my position. And so when I do that, it's peeling back just this one. So just this one has been earmarked specifically for my position in the organization. All right, so enough about searching. I think you all see where this is headed. Really just giving learners the power to be able to find what it is they need to find. So let me end this bit of the segment with just a quick, if I can tie it. Just a quick illustration of how they would enroll in this course. So I've located this TED Talk that I want to take. This content is here in the platform. So I can click on the eye icon. I can get some additional information about this, description information, how long it might take me, any other details that have been provided. And I think, yeah, I've got the time for this. I'm interested in the 10 ways to have a better conversation. So I'm going to enroll in that course. And so a couple things happen. One, it gave me a success message across the bottom in green and big so that I notice it. And the other thing it does is it drops me right back to my dashboard. And from there, you can see that it has added something to my ring up here, which is a course with a flexible due date. And it is that online course. So from here, again, I can launch that course immediately and go ahead and get started. Now, in this case, this is content from one of our partners, Open Sesame. You might have Open Sesame content, you might have LinkedIn Learning, you might have other third-party content from many other sources that you all are working with. But I hope that you can see that all of that can then be pulled into your platform and made easily available to your learners. All right. Couple more things that I want to show you from the user experience. Not a lot, because I hope it's not super overwhelming for them. But one of the other things that users really like to see is their transcript. So I mentioned, I'm preparing for my end of the year evaluation. I'm a new employee. I want to see what all I've accomplished in terms of training. I can head over to my transcript page. Now this really has two things for the learner. First, it has a filterable list of all of their courses. Now, I think next time I do this, when we have the next demo, and we take a look at admin tools and some of those things, I'll load up my admin with lots of courses. This would be the full list. This would be courses they've completed, courses they've canceled, maybe things they've failed, maybe things they abandoned. All of those could be seen in their transcript. So it really gives them the power to see what they've been enrolled in and what their status is in those courses. They can also get back into them. So should they want to relaunch, relook at something, they can do that from their transcript if you've continued to make those things available to them. And the last thing that they really like is the ability to view what I call a pretty transcript, right? So something that is going to print well. I think Amy mentioned that we have a reporting engine behind the scene. And this is actually an embedded report for this user. So you can see that it's pulling in details about me as a learner. It's giving me my division information, my job position, my first and last name, and then details about the courses that I have successfully completed. So this can be customized a little bit. So for you as an organization, if you are not using things like credit units or credit others, those columns could be eliminated. If division isn't that important to you, but department is, those could be swapped out. Maybe a badge number or an employee ID would be helpful. And so those things could be incorporated for your organization's transcripts. This also is exportable, so they can export it as a PDF, they can send it to their printer. So again, making sure they have access to this information after the fact. And just because everyone wants to see all the buttons, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at profile. It's not as exciting in my mind, but users do like to see what you know about them. The thing that is unique in some ways about this is that typically this information about their division and job role and position are all going to come over from your systems. Now, some of that can be done over here. So if you aren't in a position to integrate fully, you can bring these over in flat files. There are other ways that we can integrate that data in. But this information, having you hold that source of truth is going to allow you to then leverage those details to assign training. So just as we saw with visibility to things, letting them see what they should see, and also assigning them to the right sets of courses, right? Making sure that they are lined up to grow and to evolve as an employee and as a person in the ways that they want to and that you need them to. So that is our step-by-step kind of tour of the learner experience today. I think there might be a couple questions that I noticed. There was some flutter of activity over there behind the scenes. So I can leave out of here and let us go back to other screen sharing if we want. And if there are any questions, please feel free, throw them over there. I know the team's been taking a look at things.
Yeah, I think we have a couple questions that Kara is going to filter over to us in just a minute. But before we do
Cool.
that, I just thought I would also share with you all a quick vision of where we are headed with the product. So, what you've seen today is an incredible demonstration from Courtney about what that learner experience looks like and all of the different features we have in there. But because of who we are, we just aren't going to stop there. We are always looking to do more, add more, and make this platform equally robust, but also easy to use. And so here is a very high level of where we're going. We have been working very hard to redesign our current system, and you got to see a view of that today. That is what we call our next generation system. And so what we have going on is continued development with a full product launch coming very early in the new year of that completely redesigned Learnsoft LMS. That is really we've got a big focus on what the UI looks like, that ease of getting into courses, and the way that our catalog is filtered for the individual user. So all of that becomes available early in 2025. That is our big New Year gift to ourselves and what we're really working toward. In Q2 of 2025, we're going to be including some additional automation options. So that's like kind of the integration piece to automate things like, the account provisioning, as well as some other things though. So we're just going to continue to add features and enhance what we already have built there. We'll also be launching a redesigned mobile app that will work hand in hand with the platform that you saw today. So a learner will be able to go in and do their training and their compliance training and everything from a mobile app, which we know is super important, particularly when you are talking about people who are working at a play in a situation where they don't have their own computer necessarily, their own device, and so we need them to be able to access from a mobile device or a tablet or a kiosk. So that's coming by Q2. And we'll have some more UI enhancements. There's always little things that we like to enhance, like maybe there's a space somewhere we would like a different icon, or we're going to, um, change the color or the weight of the font, things like that. In Q3, we're doing some feature additions. So we have a list of features that we are working on to bring into the platform. We'll be looking at partnering with an organization to make sure that we can provide digital credentialing. We know that it's important many times when someone completes something that they can push that badge over to something like LinkedIn, or they like to put them maybe in a badge backpack or someplace where it's easy to go and see what digital credentials people have. So that will be coming in Q3, as well as continued UI enhancements. You'll kind of see that always on the product roadmap, because we're always looking to make little changes to things and improve that UI. And in Q4, we'll be looking at integrating e-commerce, more content creation and content options as a whole, and expanding partner integrations as well, which is going to be, obviously the digital credentialing, e-commerce. We'll see what else is out there too that we want to partner with. We have a couple of amazing people in the ed tech industry doing really great stuff to help enhance L&D compliance training, workplace learning, and we are looking to partner up with some of them so that we can have a very holistic approach to L&D, as well as creating a true ecosystem of learning, a one-stop place for people to come and get all of the things that they need. So that is what our roadmap looks like. Q&A time. So there have been some submissions, I think, in the Q&A tab. So Kara, can you let us know what questions we might need to answer there?
Sure. I'm going to read off a couple of these, but if you have any questions, now's the time to get them in still so we can get through them. The first one I see here is, are there self-service documentation materials available for customers?
Yes, I should have showed that to you, but one of the things within the platform, there is a help link in the top that leads directly to our knowledge base. And our knowledge base is set up so that people can ask a question sort of similar to Google and get those results back. So there's a variety of documentation in there. It will be updated, refreshed for the next gen interface that you saw today. And that provides a lot of documentation and video guides and all of the things. One of the other things that we typically do is when you are onboarding, we will create a video quick start guide for your platform. So I don't think it showed the first time I logged in today, maybe because I had already logged in to test. But it usually pops up and it plays that video first thing. Just provides your users another kind of welcome to the platform to get them oriented. So that was a long answer to say yes. Sorry, Karen.
Yes. Yeah, but that's great. So lots of things. So there was a lot of points there. That's great though. I think another one that came in is, can you elaborate on the integrations offered for current systems like HRIS?
You want me to take that? I'm happy to.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
So integration with existing systems. I won't get too far in the technical weeds based on the question, but three kind of rough options for you. The first I mentioned is sort of like you can upload or add directly to the platform. The most common is a flat file that gets sent over securely, usually once a day, sometimes more than that. And it gets picked up and processed. And the third option is APIs. So if you have a technical team on your side and they want to connect in real time, we make available the API for you, and you are welcome to integrate that way. So kind of three levels of options for most organizations.
Really great. Okay, cool. So the next one is about learning paths. It says based on department or triggered by start date, how do you set up learning paths?
I'm just going to keep answering until somebody
Yeah.
cuts me out. So you may have seen in the demo, I kind of showed it. We didn't go into too much depth, but this concept of certifications or learning paths programs allows you to bundle courses together. And then I think the key point there to the question is probably, getting that to the right people. So those certifications can be self-enrollment. They also can be assigned out with the automatic assignment manager. So being able to distribute those as you need to.
Fantastic. All right. This one is, who all can modify the transcript?
Good question. We can help you do that. And also within your organization, you will have a sort of report guru who will have access to be able to go in and update the visuals there. I think that was probably the question, but I will also just mention too, in case it wasn't, learners cannot modify the information on their transcript. So what that means from a compliance perspective, I mentioned when they go their transcript, they'll see courses that were canceled, things they didn't complete, things they didn't no-show. Those don't go away. So when you have an enrollment in a course, it's going to stay there so that we have that historical record. So from a compliance perspective, who's been enrolled, who's completed, who's taking care of business, and on the transfers, who hasn't. So really important from a data perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great. Well, I think the last question I'm seeing here is, are you going to be at conferences or events anytime soon? And I will take that one, actually, because I will be at an event next week. I will be at DevLearn. So if you'd like to meet up, we're also hoping to be at Learning Leaders in December, but we will post about it. It will always be on LinkedIn if we're going to be somewhere. We will always make sure that there's lots of ways for you to get in touch with us, but the number one way is to scan this code and make sure that you have my contact information.
Awesome. Hopefully we get to see some of you all there at DevLearn. I know Kara is really looking forward to that. That is always a great conference to attend, a good show to attend to find out kind of what's going on in the L&D world and connect with people as well. All right. Well, that looks like it wraps up all of the questions that were in the Q&A. We want to take an opportunity here to thank you all for taking time out of your day to join us. We know that it is not always easy to carve out time to attend things like this. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to Kara or I. We are happy to answer those for you. We'll bring Courtney in too if there's one that we aren't able to answer. You can connect with any one of us on LinkedIn. We may be looking to connect with you too. So if you see an invite from Kara or I or Courtney, please just know that we are looking to connect with you to make ourselves available if you have any questions or anything else that we can do to kind of tell you more about what we're doing or what's going on in the L&D industry. But thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you at an event or on another webinar soon.
Have a great day.